Hello friends, Dennis Nappy II with Service of Change, where we challenge reality, question that which we've been taught in hopes of inspiring a new direction of thought to bring about change. On tonight's Daily Gnosis, we're continuing our exploration in the Gospel of Phillip. As we look through the many sections they have within it, they break down really powerful pieces of thought in very small, concise paragraph format. Tonight I want to talk about a section titled The Archons and the Holy Spirit. And it states, the rulers, though they did all they did by their own power and will, but the Holy Spirit was secretly accomplishing all through them by the Spirit's will. It's a very short one, but it ties back into what we talked about last week in a section titled The Forces. And basically what that, in summation, what that said was that even if a force may seem to be helping you, it may be acting to its own agenda, and your goodwill or your benefit may not be what it has in mind. And taking that, what this is basically saying is that the Archons may seemingly be doing something evil or negative or against the greater plan. They may be seeming to disrupt. But with that understanding, it's saying that the Spirit is working through them for whatever greater plan that it has. Now that's difficult to swallow sometimes, because we see some really bad stuff happening in this world. I mean, that's what's driven, my journey. It was the death of my father, and I felt that there was some negative forces involved in that. Does that mean ultimately there's some good behind this? At what point do we experience that? And that's when some of these other teachings come in here, talking about when we talked about reaping and sowing. You reap in the summer, you sow in the winter. You prepare during life. That's your sowing, and you reap the benefits of that preparation in the afterlife. Now that's difficult. It's difficult for me to accept right now. But maybe that's what this is talking about. So if things seem of negative influence, maybe there's a greater plan behind it. We need to try to find that greater plan in our own existence as we go and push through that negative. And sometimes the benefit of that may be just simply a lesson that we learned, even if it was a very difficult lesson. I think that is what we can take through that. If this spirit, which I think is, for lack of a better expression, the divine energy, if that's working through everything, then ultimately maybe it is going to have some benefit in the end game when we have a different perspective to see that. And this is a tough one to swallow and to process, so I'm going to need to think on this for a while, as well as I'm sure many of you listening will. I want to direct you to Service of Change, where our new podcast came out this past Saturday, and it was a great podcast talking about artificial intelligence, the release of new drones through the United States military that are the size of locusts, and mind control that may have been in play in Fort Lauderdale during that most recent shooting. You're going to want to check it out at serviceofchange.com, on iTunes and on SoundCloud. And don't forget to sign up for the secret newsletter. It comes out every Sunday. It's free, with a lot more insight into these things and so much more. Thanks for listening, friends.